So there is reporting that the Iranian foreign minister has said that the Ayatollah is alive as far as he knows. And we are learning more about the lead up to this attack on Iran, which is being called Operation Epic Fury. According to two diplomats in the region, the White House did not brief regional allies on details of strikes in advance of the attack. Let's go now to CBS News reporter Haley Ott in London, who's been speaking with people in the region about their concerns. Haley, good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, so I've been speaking to people across the Middle East who woke up this morning to explosions in their countries. We've heard, obviously, that U.S. bases in Kuwait, Bahrain, the UAE, Qatar have been targeted. Those attacks will affect people working on those bases, but also people just living in those areas. And what's been interesting is that a number of people have told me that this actually hasn't come as much of a surprise as you might expect. As they've been seeing reports of U.S. military assets traveling to the region, they've been preparing for a possible escalation, for a possible conflict between Iran and potentially some strikes on Israel back and forth. I spoke to one woman who said that she had been stocking up on water, on gasoline for her car, that she was nervous and uncomfortable, obviously, because this is violence and it's scary, but that it wasn't shocking to her. Another person told me that while the strikes that took place over the summer in Qatar were really scary and unexpected, these felt, while very upsetting and distressing, not like as much of a surprise, and that he'd had time to prep, both emotionally and also in terms of just making sure he had enough at home in case things escalate.
And Haley, what are we hearing, from our allies in the region that host American bases? I mean, on the one hand, there are allies that are allowing us in, but they also have taken on this risk that now they are being attacked by Iran in this way in terms of the U.S. bases that are there. Are we hearing condemnation from our allies? What are we hearing?
Yes, we're hearing condemnation of these attacks sort of across the board. Interestingly, there was a diplomatic process going on while this was happening. So in addition to conflict and potential de-escalation and sort of getting worse and more destabilization in the region, this has also undermined a diplomatic process. And that's really been what I've heard from European diplomats, and also what we've seen some statements from European leaders this morning. They condemn the violence. Many have spoken out against Iran, the Iranian regime, the suppression of its population, its nuclear program. But a number of European leaders have urged a return to diplomacy, de-escalation, and that these strikes don't continue to get potentially worse and worse. This is a dangerous moment. One interesting thing is that here in Europe, at least, you might have expected, because of tensions between European countries and the United States, a more sort of robust condemnation of this move this morning. But instead, I've been told that the response we're seeing is muted, because here in Europe, they view this through the prism of Ukraine. And Iran has been an ally to Russia in its war on Ukraine. So that is understood to have played a part in sort of the strength of the response from some European countries this morning.
And Haley, we had a map up just a second ago of the range of the missiles that Iran has. And of course, Europe is a possibility. I mean, are you hearing concerns for Americans, of Europeans, of what might happen if this does become a large scale conflict?
I think the fear, and certainly what I've been hearing, is that this is, from Iran's perspective, from the regime's perspective, a fight for its survival. And when a regime is fighting for its survival, it can really take extreme action. So in speaking to officials here and speaking to experts, they say that this, while in the short term it may seem like the United States has come in and potentially and Israel potentially taking care of some of Iran's ballistic missiles that it was building up, potentially made a dent in some part of its nuclear capabilities. In the long term, this they believe will make the world less safe because the Iranian regime may resort to more drastic action to defend itself and its survival.
All right, Haley Ott, thank you so much from our London newsroom. And it is almost 10 a.m. here on the East Coast and almost 6:30 p.m. in Tehran. We are following breaking news out of Iran that continues to send shockwaves around the world. To get you back up to speed, overnight, the United States and Israel began striking targets inside Iran. And there are reports that Iran is retaliating by striking some of America's allies. Reuters reports that they've attacked Riyadh in Saudi Arabia. Multiple countries are calling for de-escalation, including China, India, and Turkey. The Iranian foreign minister has said that he believes the Iranian supreme leader is still alive, but that they may have lost a few commanders.